Today on Talking Solutions, we've got Darcy Neighbors in studio, and it's time for DJs for PJs, something we do with Beasley Media Group every year. It's great to have you here.
Oh, it's such a delight to be here, Terry.
Could you take a second and explain to people what exactly led to the creation of DJs for PJs? How did this all come about?
You know, Terry, I love to tell the story because it takes me back in time and it really reconnects me to the event. It all happened during 2003 when I was in my Leadership Las Vegas class that's sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce. And we had various programs we went through, and one was called Community Safety Net Day. And that day we had to learn all about, the community needs and services that are provided from a nonprofit standpoint. And then we had to do a homework project. So two other gentlemen in my class and I were assigned to Child Haven. And at that time, Child Haven was housing hundreds and hundreds of kids. And I was put in the 2 to 4-year-old classroom. There were 19 little children that day. I was only in there for 2 hours, but I was so moved by their stories. And I had one little boy. His name was Nigel. I'll never forget this. This little kid was a fetal alcohol baby. His mother was supposed to show up in the court the day before, didn't even show. And I asked the person that was working in the room, I said, what's his story? And they said, he's been in here a number of times. Mother's on serious drugs and his developmental stage is very low. And at the end of that event, the kid wouldn't let go of me. He just wouldn't let go of me. I went to the director afterwards and I said, what do you guys need? And the last thing I needed to do was put another thing on my plate to help because I'm already involved in other charities. And she said, we desperately need pajamas. Well, I went into my car and I sat there and cried, so moved by these kids that had been seriously abused and neglected. And I called my mom that evening, who lives in town, and I told her my story. And she said, Darcy, with you being in the media and marketing and advertising, she goes, why don't you do something like DJs for PJs? The light went off for me, Terry, like I've never had before. I got chills and I said, you know what, I've got to take this idea back to my class and say, let's just do this one time. So we sat up on the corner of Boca. My classmates thought I was crazy that people would drop off pajamas or cash. That first year, we had 3,000 new pairs of pajamas brought and dropped off.
The very first time?
The very first year. And at that point, Child Haven was just so moved by the generosity of what happened that I went back to my class, and at the end of the year, we had to select a class project. Well, my class was overachievers, and we selected 4. 3 of them could be done right away, but they selected this to be the class project for 10 years. We're getting ready to enter our 14th year. We've collected more than 82,000 pairs of pajamas for kids, and they don't just now go to Child Haven. They go to a dozen charities, Safe Nest, Child Haven, Boys and Girls Town, St. Jude's Ranch, Safe House. I mean, we just are able to help so many other charities now, although the need is greater. At one point, we had 18 charities, and we couldn't service them. We're not getting enough pajamas. So the idea would be, okay, how can we help as many kids as we possibly can?
The charities that touch my heart the most are the ones I refer to it as those who are at our mercy. So children, animals, things like that. And DJs for PJs, I know that every year with Beasley Media Group, we get involved in helping to collect these new pairs of pajamas of any age. We'll get to that here in a minute. But when we're out there live and broadcasting on the day of collection, which, by the way, is coming up next Friday, so we'll tell you all about that. When we're in the middle, in the heater, trying to get all those pajamas on the big collection day, we don't really have the opportunity to get into a long discussion with you about what exactly created DJs for PJs, how it all came about, and the story is just wonderful. Wow.
It is wow. And every year I have someone or something happen that brings me right back to that emotional moment. Last year I had a woman, probably 19, who walked up at the Boca Park Kohl's location and said, who started this? Who founded it? And they found me. And she came over to me and she had her little bag and she goes, I personally wanted to thank you for providing pajamas. I was in Child Haven. I was a young teenager, and we were able to pick out what pair we wanted. And I picked out the ones that had the long pants because my father had beaten me so bad that I had bruises all over my legs, and I didn't want anyone to see that. So she had 2 pairs of pajamas with long legs that she brought to me that day. And that's the reality of this. It's just so touching.
It's sad that we have the need for it
yes.
in any case. To anybody who's listening to our discussion today on Talking Solutions, we've got Darcy Neighbors in-house. See Darcy every year.
Yes.
Love DJs for PJs, which is coming up next Friday. We'll tell you more about that in a minute. But one of the things that I find most touching about DJs for PJs, all of the different agencies that you help, starting with Child Haven and many more, these kids end up pulled into situations where they are basically rescued from a situation and dropped on the doorstep of a place like Child Haven, often only with the clothes on their back. And to give them something to call their own. When they're in a strange place with people that they don't know and they've gone through some kind of a terrible situation, to give them this most simple new pair of PJs for them.
It's incredible. I still am moved by what we've been able to do for so many kids. I mean, if you think of 82,000, you can look at a football stadium and imagine every kid that has been abused, neglected, sitting in one of those seats of a huge football stadium with a new pair of pajamas with a smile on their face. It gives me chills. And it takes an army. I mean, Beasley has been such an amazing partner. All the DJs have been so incredible. The community partners, Kohl's. It takes an army. And all it takes is one little kid, healthy kid, that's taken care of by their mom to walk up with a new pair of pajamas, to feel that they've been a part of this. They don't have to write a check for $5,000 like a corporate sponsor can do. Everybody can bring one pair of pajamas. Our whole community, even if 10% of our entire Las Vegas Valley could bring one pair of pajamas, what that could do for this community would be absolutely incredible.
That would blow out the doors. That would be above any of the estimates or the requests that we've made over the years.
Yeah. And our goal this year is 10,000, which is a huge, lofty goal. But that's exactly what our annual need is based on the charities that we've had fill out their paperwork on what their needs are.
And what we're asking for is one pair of new pajamas, be it infant to age 18, any size. Seriously, we can take them. And listen, if you can't go to the store, a lot of people I know while we're out broadcasting live on the day for DJs for PJs, like will happen again next Friday, all day long. They stop there where we're broadcasting in the parking lot at Kohl's. We're always at Charleston and Durango in the Boca Park area. People will park their car, say hi to us, and then dash into the store, grab some PJs, and come out. Very frequently, they don't come out with just a single pair. They come out with more because you're so filled with love that you can make such a difference in the life of a child. If you can't do that, if you can't make it to any store to get a new pair of pajamas, that's okay. Give us $10 and we'll take care of it ourselves.
Yes, we can. And we can take donations online. Cash donations are always great because we always need to buy larger size because everybody loves to buy the cute little onesies and the ones for the toddlers. But Kohl's has made it very simple this year. They've actually got signs, and you can look for the DJs for PJs logo and the Beasley Broadcasting logos for all your radio stations on all the racks in 8 Kohl's stores throughout the valley. They will be displayed for the next couple of weeks, and you'll know exactly where to find the pajamas. They've made it very, very easy this year to find them.
So easy. And it makes such a difference. And you have so many volunteers. I know every year when I'm out there, because I'm always doing the afternoon shifts later in the day, desperately trying to get all those pajamas. I remember meeting up with people like from Wells Fargo, for instance.
Yep.
Kohl's people have been so good. Do you have some other companies that have really kicked in to help?
Oh, yeah. There's a dental company this year that's actually going to give new toothbrushes to every little kid that comes up and brings new pajamas, which is really a cool little thing. But we've got some credit unions that come out. We have banks. We have high school service groups that come out. It's very, very touching that anybody can get involved in this.
I remember over the years as we've been doing the broadcasts, I've seen kids from schools in Pahrump coming all the way into town to make their donation. I remember a time when the Clark County Fire Department had gathered hundreds. I want to say they did more than 700 pairs of pajamas one year.
Oh, it was crazy. That was probably our best year ever, and that was before the economy tanked. We collected just shy of 14,000 pair that year.
Wow.
That was pretty incredible. We haven't seen those numbers for years. And what amazes me about the Las Vegas and Henderson Greater Valley is that even through the hard times, and everybody had hard times, people were still able to donate a pair of pajamas and make a difference for one kid. And that was really special because, you know, you think you're working class. We all struggled, but can you imagine how many people became homeless because of the downturn that weren't in that position before? And then the kids became abused and neglected and were at least able to put a smile on their face for a night.
There's no doubt that Las Vegas got hit especially hard with the downturn. And the latest numbers that I had heard, even through 3 Square Food Bank and the Clark County schools, is that about 58% of our kids are on school lunch programs or food assistance assistance programs. So it is hard. It is tight. We're pulling out, but it's something that we got to all link arms and do it together.
No doubt. And when people trash the greater Las Vegas Valley, that we are the lowest on the volunteer list and the lowest on the charitable giving list, all they have to do is come and sit with me on Friday, April 17th from 6 to 7 p.m., and they will see that we have a very, very caring and giving community.
I think we do. And maybe this is just me making up numbers, but maybe that volunteerism rate that they complain about being low here, they're not possibly factoring in all those millions of tourists who just come to visit us for a day or two. That's a whole different issue. We are the locals. We are the people who live here. This is our life. This is our existence.
Yes.
And we look out for each other.
We do. We really do.
This is a very special place.
Yeah.
How many different charities do you think you're going to be able to help with DJs for PJs this year?
This year, if we can get our 10,000, we can help 12 charities. We still have a waiting list of about 6 other charities. And if we get the cash and we get the extra pajamas, they'll be the first ones to receive them. It all is kind of a supply and demand. We need as many as possible, and we'll help as many kids as we possibly can.
There's a lot of ways that you can give the PJs. I guess what we should do, djsforpjs.org.
Yes.
Access djsforpjs.org. You're going to find out all about the event, the collections that are now going on, the big broadcast from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., which is this coming Friday, the 17th, so it's only days away. We just want you to get together with your family, your neighbors, your church, your coworkers. See if you guys can't put together some PJs and give them to us for a wonderful cause. 1 pair of new PJs for a child of any age. That's all we're asking, and it makes such a difference.
It's so fun. I can't think that this is already our 14th year, and I've always set lofty goals, and I'm thinking if we can really reach our number this year, that next year, our 15th anniversary, we can top 100,000 new pairs of pajamas that have changed a child's perspective and made them comfy and comfortable for many nights. That's a pretty remarkable thing, driven by, like I said, this army of people in Las Vegas.
A new pair of PJs for kids of any age. They're in crisis situations, a lot of times ending up at places like Child Haven with only the clothes on their back. They've just gone through some kind of trauma, and to give them a new pair of PJs, something they can call their own, something warm and comforting, something they can keep, it makes a tremendous impact. By the way, we're talking with Darcy Neighbors, founder of DJs for PJs. Once again, Beasley Media Group, proud to be part of this wonderful event. Collection stage is on now. The big broadcast all day this coming Friday the 17th from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. I know our friends from 96.3 KKLZ will be out there doing a live broadcast. From the Coles, we're always at the one in Summerlin, West Charleston, and Durango. Every year that I've been involved with a broadcast, we get a young person coming up and saying, I need to give back. You helped me. Mm-hmm. They tell their story.
Those are the gems that surprise me every year, and I look forward to what that might be this year. I guarantee you there will be 1 or 2 or 3 people that come up to me and give me their story, and then it drives it home to me. I'll tell you the other thing that is really impactful, Terry, is at the end of the day, our charities show up. We also will be collecting at the Valle Verde Coles location as well, but our charities show up at 6:30 to 7, and they take huge trash bags full of pajamas that are individually packaged for each kid. And the people that pick these up are so moved and so grateful. And they'd say, I wish I could take you back to our charity right now, because you're going to see smiling faces. You're going to see crying people that are so happy to receive these pajamas. And we're going to have a pizza party tonight. We're going to celebrate that everybody's got a new pair of pajamas. We don't, as collectors, see all that, but I get the stories. I get the thank you notes from the kids. And it is really one of the most significant things that I've ever been a part of in my entire life.
It's amazing. It's DJs for PJs. Please just give 1 pair of new pajamas. Any size, we don't care. If you think the cute little onesies, the little infant size, yes, they're adorable. We do have needs all the way to age 18, and we don't want to forget the teens, because that's a tough part of their life anyway, and they've got a bad situation on top of it.
Well, and Terry, a real quick story. Back in the early days, we took a bunch to the Child Haven when the kids were housed there full time. They were put in the middle of one of the cottages for the teenagers, and I was told that the teenagers were so happy, and they couldn't believe they got to pick out their very first new pair of pajamas. Not one kid in that cottage had ever owned a brand new pair of pajamas. They had been hand-me-downs, they'd slept in a t-shirt, shorts, but no one had had their own new pair of pajamas as a teenager. That's really hard to comprehend, but that was the truth.
I feel so blessed. I know a lot of families, mine included, new pajamas at Christmas is a tradition. I've got more pairs of pajamas because of this. Everybody in the family got a new pair of pajamas, and that goes on every year. But there are a lot of people in our community who are not that fortunate, especially kids. Kids who need our help, kids who we need to look out for because they can't do it for themselves.
Right.
And it's not that hard to do. You can donate a new pair of pajamas, any size. Darcy Neighbors here, the creator of DJs for PJs. Next Friday, the 17th, is our big collection day. All of us here at Beasley Broadcasting behind the DJs for PJs effort. 96.3 KKLZ, got to be broadcasting from their usual spot, the Coles in Summerlin at Charleston and Durango. Look for Old School 105.7 at the Henderson Green Valley location in the morning. Also, you'll find Star 107.9 over there. That would be the Coles location at 215 in Valley Verde. Whatever works for you. Get together with your coworkers, your church, your family, neighborhood friends, whatever. As many pairs of PJs as you can muster, we can use them seriously. Wouldn't it be nice if all these thousands of pairs of PJs that you get every year, Darcy, wouldn't it be great if we had some just waiting left over that weren't needed or used?
Oh, you know how nice that would be, because during the year, we get calls during the year saying we've had an influx of more than what we thought our annual need was. Is there any way you can get us pajamas? And most of the times we have to say, unfortunately, we don't have any. We don't have the cash to buy. It kills me to have to say that we can't, but it would be so nice to be able to have some reserves.
Every year when I see you as we're finishing up DJs for PJs on that collection day, first of all, you look really well rested today, like you've been away on a vacation, perhaps. Good for you.
I had to rest up for the DJs for PJs day.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that this next week is not going to be easy, and I always ask you on the collection day, late in that collection day where you've been up for hours and hours and hours. And long days for a long time, how much rest you've gotten. This is not just a one-day event for you, is it?
No, it's not. We really start planning actually in December for this one-day event. I mean, there's just so much that goes into prepping for it, getting the word out, reaching out to previous donors, just making sure that we've got all the marketing material to help promote it, getting boxes delivered to various businesses and churches to collect. It's a lot of work. And then it doesn't stop on collection day. I mean, we've got probably a month or two of wind down, of really trying to tie up the loose ends and making sure that everybody's taken care of and that we're back and packed ready for the next year. So it's a lot of work, and it's all done volunteer. I mean, DJs for PJs is a fund under the Nevada Community Foundation, so it's all operated on volunteers. I mean, there is not one paid salary of any kind. I mean, this money goes directly to the kids in the pajamas, so it's a very grassroots effort.
And it's a big need. It's DJs for PJs. Collection Day is coming up next Friday, the 17th. Coles is helping us out. So 100% volunteer.
All volunteers.
501c3.
501c3 through the Nevada Community Foundation, and then we're a fund underneath that. As a small entity, it's hard to handle all the financial and the legal work that would go with having our own 501c3. Although the larger we become, it will probably ultimately become its own 501c3, but it is considered that under the Nevada Community Foundation.
Everybody hears 501c3, recognized by the IRS as a charity and as a member of a board of a couple different charities that are 501c3s. There is a lot of paperwork and stuff involved with that.
Oh, man, there is. Just the financial stuff that goes in and out. My dream one day would be to be able to collect enough money that we would be able to have an endowment that could eventually carry this legacy on and be able to spin off pajamas without having to rely on so many volunteers. Wouldn't that be the dream, to be able to have that opportunity? Because there's always going to be a need. Unfortunately, there's always going to be kids that are seriously born into drugs and abused. I mean, seriously abused, Terry. I mean, to the point where parents are putting irons to their arms and sexually abusing them. This is just a serious, serious problem that we have with the drug and alcohol problem here in Vegas. And my other dream is to be able to take this on the road and help other communities. It's going to be launched in Reno this year for the first time.
Wow.
How cool would it be to have Vegas be the seed that starts this, maybe that could grow across the country and impact people all over the country?
There are problems that exist everywhere.
Everywhere.
We do realize that.
Yeah.
Darcy Neighbors is with us, creator of DJs for PJs. Tell you more about Collection Day. You should start thinking about those new PJs. We need them. We'll tell you in a minute. Darcy, you got daughters. How old were they when this got started?
My oldest is in college now, but I remember the very first year we brought an RV out and stayed the night in the Boca Park parking lot. I believe they were 4 and 6 at the time, and now they're 18 and 20. They have come out every single year. My youngest, who is now a senior, has come out and worked from 4:30 in the morning with me until 8:30 at night. just last weekend, I had her counting and sorting pajamas that we had collected at a couple apartment complexes over near Nellis. And it's just in her blood. It has moved her so much she had to do a project at school. And she goes, Mom, I want to do something like DJs for PJs. And so she's a jock, so she did Jocks for Socks. She collected these socks and gave them all to Child Haven. And I thought, wow, what a neat thing to share as a mother to a daughter. But we have other mothers and daughters that come out and volunteer during the event. And both of my girls are very giving spirits because of this. And there are times where I'm just so tired. I'm like, I don't know how much longer I can do this. Or I know how much longer I can lead it. And they go, Mom, no matter what, we'll take it over. We'll make sure that it's going to continue. It's just an amazing feeling for your kids to be able to tell you that.
A legacy of giving and compassion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Although there are nights we go shopping prior to the event, and we've had the money to go out and purchase somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000 worth of pajamas at Kohl's. And they love that. I mean, there's nothing more fun than just to go in and just pick out pajamas. And to do that together, it's just been some of the best memories that we'll ever have.
Pretty special moments. You could consider getting involved with your family. This would be a great thing. Get the kids involved, teach them about generosity, giving, compassion for others. Always a good lesson to learn. DJs for PJs is on. Collection time is on now. The big collection day itself is next Friday the 17th. So if you want to gather up all those new pairs of PJs, any size, infant to age 18, doesn't matter. We can use them all. Believe me, we can use those and more. Gather them up. We'll be collecting. What's the goal this year?
10,000, which is the hefty goal. I think last year we did just over 6,500, but the need is there. I mean, we wouldn't set the goal at 10,000 if the need was not there. And that's just for the 12 charities that we have now.
That's what I was mentioning. Would we ever have any left over? No, that's never the case.
It's never the case.
It's sad.
It's so sad. It's still hard to believe. I get upset if we don't meet our goal, and my kids will say, Mom, it's okay. Look how many we did collect. Look how many kids that we will make happy. But then my heart goes, well, look at the ones that we weren't able to help. That's what hurts me. But I do have to focus on the ones we have been able to help.
Yeah. And I'm that way too with charities that I work with. And for instance, with an animal charity, I know they're not all going to make it, and I do anything I could to help. Mm-hmm. But you have to turn your focus to every single one you did help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a wonderful, wonderful charity. It is DJs for PJs, djsforpjs.org. Go to the website. All the information about the organization. I would imagine on there you also have some info on the groups that you are able to help.
Absolutely. Yep. There's information on all the charities. There are ways that you can donate. It's got all the location information, the dates and times. But Terry, I do want to seriously make it clear that this would not be possible without Beasley Broadcasting. They have been an absolutely phenomenal partner. It is DJs for PJs. It's critical that the DJs are a part of it and that they get into it and they wear their pajamas out and they get people involved and encouraged and inspired. So it's an amazing partnership that we have with Beasley.
You are kind. And let me tell you that it's a really tough thing to go, DJs for PJs. That means I get to wear my pajama pants to work and I get to go hang out with people who are giving to kids and doing wonderful things. And we'll be out doing a live broadcast. Doesn't sound like such a bad thing to be doing on a Friday, April 17th, after all.
Absolutely.
It's really a lot of fun, and I feel totally blessed to be able to make a difference in this community.
Sometimes I have to pinch myself, Terry. It's hard to believe that a little seed of an idea could grow into what it is now. And that not just myself can be a part of it, but my girls, my family, Beasley Broadcasting, Kohl's. I mean, like I said, there are a lot of people that have been able to make a difference. And there are even more that can make a difference. All you have to do is be that little kid, that little boy that I'll never forget, that walked up, had his piggy bank, and completely emptied out his piggy bank on the table and said, this is for a little kid. He probably wasn't older than 4 years old. I mean, those kinds of things you just never forget. And he probably doesn't remember, but I guarantee his mom remembers it, and I certainly remember it.
I would bet you he does remember. Any child that at the age of about 4 has such a giving spirit, that would have been an important moment in his life, too.
So cool. They bring their little bags, and they're so cute. The bags are bigger than them, and they're walking up to the donation table, and they're so adorable. And then, we'll always have little stickers we can give them, or a cookie, or whatever. We want to thank them for their giving spirit.
Because when you give, you get back. And even if you don't get something tangible, even if you don't get a cookie or something to hold in your hand, just the feeling that you get is in itself a gift.
Yeah.
It's DJs for PJs. What we're looking for from you is a new pair of pajamas. We don't care what size it is. You can start with infants and go all the way up to age 18. And believe me, by age 18, pretty much any size would be necessary.
Absolutely.
Don't forget the bigger kids. Oh, life is tough for a kid in their teens, no matter what the situation.
Absolutely.
So we're looking for a new pair of pajamas. If we could just all do that, we could make a huge difference. The goal this year is 10,000 pairs of PJs. Think about how many people are in the Las Vegas area. That's a lot more. If we were doing one pair per person, that's a lot more than 10,000 pairs. So if we can, please step up and help us out. Collection Day is coming up next Friday the 17th, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. All of us here at Beasley Broadcasting behind the DJs for PJs effort. 96.3 KKLZ going to be broadcasting from their usual spot, the Coles in Summerlin at Charleston and Durango. Look for Old School 105.7 at the Henderson Green Valley location in the morning. Also, you'll find Star 107.9 over there. That will be the Coles location at 215 in Valley Verde.
Right.
Think about it. A pair of PJs, you could probably go out and shop and do it for less than $10. I know you're a good shopper, right? So you could do a pair of pajamas. Doesn't matter the cost. Just bring us a pair of new pajamas for kids. That's what we need. If you could do that, work with your coworkers, your family, your church, your friends, anybody. Drop them off next Friday. Help us reach that goal. And seriously, if you don't have time or the inclination to go out and buy the PJs, we can do the money. Because if you give us $10, we can get a pair of PJs. Plus, that'll help us fill in those gaps. Because Darcy, as you're saying, a lot of times people think, oh, the little kids' PJs are so cute. And they are.
They are.
But there's also older children who need not to be forgotten. And so that $10 donation turns into pajamas in many cases for them.
Right.
You can do it through the website, djsforpjs.org. Or you can come out and see us on Collection Day next Friday between 6 a.m. and 7 p.m.
And if they can't make it out on Collection Day, here at the studio, you have collection boxes in the lobby. If they can't make it on Friday during the week, they certainly can drop off pajamas.
We would love to see you. In fact, what we're going to do is we'll go downstairs. We're going to take a picture here in a minute with the box. I will put it on our Talking Solutions Facebook page, also where you can hear the entire interview with Darcy Neighbors from DJs for PJs. All of that will be available. We'll do that here in a minute. Are you ready to sleep up for the next few days?
I am. I'm ready because I tell you, I'm exhausted after that day. Standing on asphalt from 6 in the morning, well, actually, I guess we start at 4:30 for setup, till 7:30 at night. I am literally exhausted, but it is the best exhaustion. It's not like any other kind of tired that I feel. It's knowing that we've done a lot of good.
Make a difference kind of tired is a special kind of tired.
It really is.
Plus that I don't trust you to sleep 8 hours on all the days leading up to it because I know you're not going to.
No, I will not.
It's going to be a great day, and we really, really are asking you for your help.
Yeah, and going back to your Facebook, share this information with all your friends on Facebook. Challenge your friends. Say, hey, my church is going to do this, or my school is going to do this. Challenge each other and say, okay, we're going to get 10 pairs. If you can get 5 of your friends to get 10 pairs, we're making a dent in that 10,000. Make it kind of a game of it.
Take a selfie of you with that pair of PJs for that little kid. Post it, put it on Facebook, put it on Twitter, Instagram. I don't care where you put it, but put it out there and show people that you're going to be a part of this year's DJs for PJs. We all work together. We can totally do this.
Yes, we can do this. I know we can do this.
It's going to be a great day. And you're going to help kids in crisis situations, kids who cannot help themselves. And this is where we as a community can step up to make a difference with a simple pair of new pajamas.
Just one. And you'll feel really good about just one.
That's all we're asking. Darcy Neighbors is with us today on Talking Solutions, creator of DJs for PJs. That's djsforpjs.org. The big broadcast and collection day coming up next Friday, April 17th from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Thank you, Darcy, with DJs for PJs, our friends with Kohl's who do so much to help us out. Do we still need volunteers to help?
I think we're fairly good on volunteers. This is something we have to take into consideration months before, so we have our schedule set up, but there's plenty of ways to volunteer in your community with regards to collecting. But the day of the event, we're fairly set on that. You know, Kohl's Cares program that they provide, they have people out the entire day, and we've got other banks and credit unions. So we've kind of got that all set up, but definitely volunteer in getting involved in your church and being a leader in collecting pajamas. Kids have birthday parties, and rather than ask for presents, these teenagers have had their friends bring them one pair of pajamas. They collect 15 to 20 pairs of pajamas for their birthday party. What a selfless gift or ask as a teenager. That kind of stuff moves me.
It's maturity beyond their years, because when
really
you're talking about a kid who's 5, 6, 8, 10, 10, 12 years old. Instead of, it's all about me on my birthday, it's turning and shining a light on a need for other kids who need the help.
Isn't that a cool thing?
Yeah, it is. I'm getting warm fuzzies here. Hey, I haven't had to use the Kleenex for crying quite as much today as I expected. You know, I've got it right here. It is DJs for PJs. It's time for you to step up and help. And I'm just going to say right now, thank you for helping us, because I really believe people will step up.
I agree.
Help us do that 10,000 goal.
I agree. Thank you ahead of time. I know our community will come through for us.
I always say Las Vegas is a special place. People just don't know.
Yep.
Darcy Neighbors, creator of DJs for PJs. We're right in the heart of the collection time. DJsforPJs.org. We would love to see you out there for the live broadcast coming up next Friday. Darcy, thank you so much for joining us today on Talking Solutions.
Terry, thank you so very much. And I want to thank you and Beasley one more time, and also the community for all the support over the last 13 years. Let's make this a great year.
And I just want to add, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have a DJs for PJs.
Thank you.
Back at you.
Thank you very much.
Talking Solutions is a production of the Community Relations Department here at Beasley Media Group Las Vegas. Get more information on today's topic on our Talking Solutions page on Facebook, where you will also find links and a podcast of today's show. Thanks for listening, and have a great week.